And when he brought us to 3, and he could tell that we were making changes in our attitude, we were fixing the problems, we were listening to each other, he asked the $180,000 question. So how long did this take? And we're like, yeah, those 3 problems took 7 weeks to resolve. He said, good. We're not going to do this again, guys. We're not. There's no way. First of all, I'm paying you guys too much money. Second of all, you guys are going to learn to do this. And third, I need you guys to get me out of it. Okay, Maurice, you have 185 people under you, and you need to go teach all your people how to do this. And I don't want you spending 7 weeks teaching everybody how to do this. You know that your regional manager has some serious issues with the underwriting manager. I need you to go get in that relationship and teach them how to do this. You know that the 2 regionals in Southeast Louisiana do not get along. Everyone knows you're going to go and meet with your 2 regionals and you're going to show them how to do this. And I need them to be really good at this and do it in 2 weeks, not 7 weeks. Rebuild those relationships. If you need me, let me know. I'll jump in and we'll show them how to do it. But this is what I want you guys to go and show everybody. Wherever there's conflict, I need you to teach your team members how to listen to one another, how to find each other's common place, how to do this calmly, reduce the steps, and then oversee it for the next 2 to 3 weeks to make sure that they're creating tension resolution. There's tension, acknowledge it, make it go away through this tactic. Is this possible? Is this too much? Can it be reduced? What's good about it? What's bad about it? Talk to me.
Maurice, I think it's possible. However, if we have allowed this conflict to go on for 20 years, and that's, I think 7 weeks is a good benchmark because, we haven't had that communication or conflict resolution. Everybody just dislikes somebody. You know what I mean?
I do. And I want to encourage you that I agree with you because how easy is it to find new team members that are competent enough to replace somebody?
Well, all of them on this call could answer that question. They know it's not easy.
And tell me this, how many of those candidates know how to do this? You're going to have to sit there and teach them to do it. So any 7 weeks that you spend teaching individuals how to address 3 issues and create resolution, that's an investment worth taking.
And the other thing I want to say is they'll go complain and say, Lizelle does this or Lizelle does that, but then they never come to me. So then Lydia knows that Stephanie has an issue with me, but I don't know that Stephanie has an issue with me. So,
well, look, okay. James was the COO. When he started this process with us, he sat down with Michelle, the VP, the HR person, and told her of this process. And he said, if any of them come to you, help me by asking them, well, are you using the process? Okay. And so, every time that I jumped into tension and I was helping Janet and Andrea, I would let HR know, hey, I'm starting this with them. In case anybody comes around, help me support the process. So by opening up the lines between you and HR knows, then HR can say something like, well, what part of the process are you on? You're on the first column, second column? How is it? Oh, I don't like that process. Well, that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that the only way for HR to help is if she knows that the process is being used. That's the only way to get support. If you just let HR know that you've begun this with a couple of individuals, tell them who the individuals are, and let them know we're going to start this process the week of February the 13th, that kind of thing. Anything else?
After you go through this process of mediation with your team, and they're still not willing to conform, at that point, is enough?
Yes. If you go through this with them and you can tell that someone is just unwilling to learn. Lydia.
I would just go back to what you were saying earlier is we have to loop in HR with that.
Right.
Because a manager can say enough is enough, but if HR wasn't involved the whole time, we may put a pause to it and say, hold on, what was followed? We can't just let somebody go, so bring us in at the beginning so that we know what's going on and we can support all the way through. But yes, if somebody's refusing to do things, enough is enough and it's time to part ways.
And I would also say this, because we're recording this could become a powerful tool for y'all. You could contact HR and you have the 2 individuals watch this. Let them learn the process through it and then sit down with them and say, y'all understand the steps? You understand what we're doing? Okay, good. And that way they understand the process from an objective oversight tool that HR is providing. And then you can say, okay, do you have any questions about the process? Good, let's get started. But this video could become a really powerful tool by using it up front. You could also use this video to have a lunch and learn with your team on one of your team meetings and just teach them how to do this without necessarily there being conflict to resolve at that moment.
So sometimes what I feel that's hard to address with the conflict is things like this, their attitude or their participation. And it's hard because when it comes down to the job, they feel, well, I did my job and nothing's wrong with me. I have a hard time getting staff to speak up. I think it would be 10 weeks for them to put 3 things down in writing. They say there's issues, but when you hold them accountable and ask them, well, define it, write it down, they can't put it in writing. They just don't like it. That goes with engagement and many different things. So that's a struggle to handle when you can't even get them to define and work on it. They think doing the job, that's just enough.
Right.
It's
right.
not.
No, I think that's an excellent point. Now, keep in mind that Stephanie and Maurice were high D individuals, very vocal, very confident, self-assured, and yet it took work to get it out of our heads in the proper way. So if us being extroverts have had a hard time with this, and I have a hard time anytime I'm in conflict to do this. So the key step is this: don't ask them to go write it down. Go ahead and have the meeting with you and the person A and talk it through them. And you help them put those sentences together. Okay, so what you're saying is, and then help them fill out column 1 and column 2. Because if you just give it as homework or you realize I gave it as homework and here they are a week later, they can't figure it out. Okay, what they need someone to have a conversation with in a safe zone. So I'm going to have to meet with the first person, help them to write it down, have to meet with the second person, get them to write it down. So you have to, at that point, jump in and help them write it down and get it out of their heads.
I feel like that's what I have to do with everything, with just the engagement of the team. Anything that we're trying to work on, there's just a lot of silence. I'm working on it with individual meetings and stuff to get them to speak out more. But
use this video, get a copy of this video, do a lunch and learn, open the conversation so that everyone realizes you're trying to create those safe spaces. To try to get past the silence, there's no shortcutting. You're just going to have to talk through it with them so that they feel comfortable that with you it's safe to say things, and then you're helping them write it down. And don't pressure them to go meet with each other unless they first met with you and that they can calm it down with you and they can verbalize it. Because trying to put 2 people in the same room to go talk to each other when you can tell they're not even comfortable talking with you, then that's just going to create more conflict. Get them to talk with you comfortably, get them comfortable with you, and then the first time you may need to just be in the room and walk them through it of how to talk. James was able to put Stephanie and I in our own room because he did it behind the scenes. But if you need to, because there's too much silence or insecurity between them, or they're not good at this, then yeah, jump in with them and just say, guys, I'll help y'all. It's good. It's good. It's safe. It's all right, guys. I'll show you how to do this. Back to LaSalle's point, y'all working for so long, and back to Lydia's point, y'all please try this before we have to fire people. I mean, it's just to replace people. It's just so, your investment of 7 weeks, 10 weeks, it's well worth the risk of having to find replacements. Hey, everybody. Great job making it through this course. I look forward to hearing from you. Do not forget, jump into our hours to help you. We're here to help you. Go to the next module. If you have any questions, any problems, do not hesitate to contact me, contact one of the other coaches, contact one of the coaches that have been assigned to you. Don't hesitate. Use the system to interact with us, to message us, and take advantage of the time that you have with us. Having said that, thank you again for having joined us. Let's get moving to the next levels. Good luck. And again, thank you for joining the program. Honored to help you.